everybody. Thanks for being here. This week, we're off the Oregon coast aboard the Tuna Time II for Albacore tuna. Now, if you want to learn how to catch more fish, stay tuned. I'm Justin Wolf, and this is Angler West Television. We've got an early start out of Garibaldi Marina on the Oregon coast with anytime charters aboard the Tuna Time II. Earlier in the season, 100-fish days were not unheard of, but recently the fish have been scattered and not wanting to play, so Captain AJ has his work cut out for him.
Today, game plan is kind of go back where we were a little bit yesterday, trying to find some birds and some little jumpers patches. We don't have as much wind today, so we'll be able to see a little bit better, but probably go out, 40 to 60 miles and try to get a little better score than we did there, make it happen. Well, it's looking fishier here. We got the water temperature we're looking for. Where we caught some fish before. A couple rips around here, a couple birds flying in the distance. By the time we get the gear set up, we should be going into them probably a couple miles. We're going to pull the throttle back here and see if we can spot out some jumpers. Read some fish here. Only way to catch them is put the gear in.
We're letting all these out right now. This was our second swim bait out the back. These go out the very furthest. Then we started the front off our long poles. We got clones on those. I got a pink. I got a cucumber. And then we're running our short lines. We've got divers right here. Everything's got something a little different on, from Mexican flags to pink clones to whatever we can throw at them. Hopefully it works. What we're gonna wait for, one of these rods goes off, we're gonna throw bait right away, start chumming the water, get them to follow the boat hopefully, and as we get in and gaff one, we'll start dropping all of our flat falls, our swim bait and all that, so we'll try to get more to bite each time we can. Eventually the goal is to try to get a school around the boat so it's easy fishing and you're not looking for them anymore. That ought to do it. We've got a fish field swim bait on there. We're gonna try a different color. We got one green out the back, a purple, and we're gonna try a pink. Yesterday I got on the pink, so we'll see if it works again today.
Couple down there, not very big school.
Kind of in a little bit of dirty water, so we're making sure that everything's clean, so when we do go through the tuna, we're fishing. You don't want to have stuff hanging on your lines. You go through a school of fish and you're not fishing, so about every 10 minutes we check one line. I got two swim baits I'm running out the back. One side's pink, this is blue, they're fish field. And what we do is we run these way behind all the rest of the gear behind the boat. So if we get any stragglers behind that we miss, hopefully, or fish that are more timid from the boat, they'll come and hit these. So we put them way back there. Rowdy.
We got 62.2 degree water right here. I just went from about 61 to 62 real quick. A couple little rips around. The wind started picking up a little bit, so we're not seeing them as good as I was a little bit ago. Let's see if we can catch a couple here. Drag them for about a half hour. If we don't find nothing, pick them up and run a little bit farther. We're looking.
On that pink, missed it. Pink clone just got hit, but when it came off the tip of the rod, there's about 20 feet of slack that happens before it tightens up the fish. He wasn't there when we did it, so we're gonna check it, see what we can do. I'll make sure that's tight too. Tighten that up a little bit more. It might not be. It's pretty tight. I think these electric reels, they've got a meter system on them. Right now I've got the jig to where it's just above the top of the water, because this reel will stop reeling it in right when it gets there. It won't go through the block and everything. And then I can also have control over how far out I let everything out. Make sure I'm uniform and right where I want my gear fishing. This one I'm gonna let out about 60 meters. It's about 180 feet behind the boat.
Get that reel on. It's coming, that's a good deal. It's good right there, right there.
This is unbelievable.
Yeah.
I've never experienced it. Actually automatic drag.
Get ready to start reeling. We still got some line out.
So do I flip the lever down?
Nope, just keep it on. It'll turn off automatically.
Oh,
Come over here. Get that tip down in the water. Circling around that way, guys. Over here, tip up. All right.
Hey, I hope you're enjoying this week's episode of Angler West, where we're chasing albacore tuna off the Oregon coast. Now, our North Pacific albacore have a fascinating life cycle. The ones we're after today were born or hatched off the Japanese coast, and the mamas get up to 80 pounds and can lay between 1 and 3 million eggs each every time. That's an incredible number of eggs. They spawn near the surface, the males fertilize the eggs, and within 2 days, they hatch. That's really fast, so obviously they are a prolific fish. In fact, there's been schools of albacore spotted that were over 19 miles wide. Now, we're not finding schools like that today. We have to work a little harder for them on this particular day, but we're gonna do just fine. So our albacore, which are growing juvenile albacore between maybe 15 and 25 pounds, have come to us in search of food. And the California coast, Oregon, Washington, all the way up through British Columbia, has a perfect situation for the albacore. What they want is some warmer water to live in themselves, because they are a warm water species, but they need that nutrient-rich water to provide them food. That Arctic water that comes down and wells up off the Pacific coast is right next to the California current, and that provides nutrient-rich water right next to the water that they want to live in. Plus, the North Pacific albacore like to be a little bit closer to the surface, whereas albacore in other parts of the world, they're known to dive down even 2,000 feet in search of food. Now, tuna will eat a wide variety of foods, but the albacore in particular likes to focus on cephalopods, like squid. So that's why you'll see the clones and other troll baits that represent squids can often work really well. But not to say that they won't eat other types of bait like candlefish, anchovies, and sardines, and whatever they can find. So let's get back to the Oregon coast and see if we can't scratch out a few more fish on this very difficult day.
Right over here, tip up.
Bait out here, see if any call it.
Good deal.
Marking any? We're watching the screen now. We've been throwing bait, hoping something followed this fish. Hopefully we can pick up another one. Sometimes they'll follow the school, follow the fish in that we're reeling in.
45 feet it looks like. There's just not very many of them. They're just kind of an off year in short bites, just not been very good. Right now we got just scattered fish, kind of no reason really for them. The ones we are seeing jumping, they're just 1 or 2 here and there, and they're gone real quick. So just try to get on them and stay on them as much as we can, but it's pretty slow, pretty slow. Yeah, they're not deep, you know, like this one I didn't even see, so it came from somewhere out there. No rhyme or reason for it, and never even saw anything on the stop. Couldn't convert, nothing. Keep trolling, I guess.
When we get back into the fish, we'll toss them.
We put our fish in the bucket. Now we're gonna go out back, grab another barrel, and put it here in ice, in our holding tank. We'll wash it up. Right here on this one, we'll put ice on top of it.
About 150 fish.
And then you got a live well pump in there?
Yeah, we got a recirculating pump, and it's also an RSW system, so it recirculates seawater. Usually running about 30 degrees.
Are you guys doing any good here?
No. We're picking up lines now. We're going to go for a little drive.
Roger,
miles under the boat, 12 miles, see what we can do. This area's kind of dead. Bird life has went away. Let's see if we can go run around and find something. Hopefully we do. Like a mark on it. Can we throw a couple bait in the water real quick?
Lines in. Grab these lines that we pulled in.
Grab the short lines, guys, right here.
You got it. Okay, guys, let's start grabbing flat fall.
Get up under the boat, Ethan. Once you rod that way. Once you rod. There you go. Bring it right over to me.
Go on!
Yeah.
And that was 2. After we're going to eat on his night.
What's that?
Get to eat his now.
No.
Welcome back to 60 Miles Off the Oregon Coast. I'm Justin Wolf. This is not one of those days when you can sit on a school of tuna. They seem to be scattered and are only willing to hit trolled lures so far.
Go on! Okay, guys, let's start pulling stuff in.
Copy.
Remember, Rowdy, you got cord. Don't worry about the other stuff. Just worry about that fish. Remember, you got a cord tied to you. Come over to my right here.
Where's it? Right here.
Get those cords up back there.
Nothing on.
Yeah, I just threw stuff. Get that bait bucket up. Get it over here. A couple every 20 seconds or so. Hey Nick, you want to get that clone all the way out of the water that AJ's messing with? That way you can just gap. Okay. You see it? That way? One on your line. Get up to the swivel. Now tip it in the air. Step in. Got him. Woo! Hey, where I was got bait in the water, Ethan? What? Bait in the water? Bait. I got bit on the way down. I was a little slow reacting. It didn't hang on. There's fish below us, guys.
Not staying on the boat, been moving around a lot, not very many fish. So trying to convert them over and get them on bait, kind of impossible right now. But we've got to try, I guess. As long as we keep getting a couple on the troll, that'll work for me.
Well, we missed one fish on the troll earlier on that side of the boat, and then the stuff that was working yesterday, our zucchini, it strikes again. We just landed one. We're getting all going again. We couldn't get the fish schooled up around the boat, so we're gonna go back to the troll and see what we can get. We're running dive baits behind the boat too, because sometimes those fish hang down a little lower than normal, and they'll come up to those first. Generally, early season, they work a lot better. Right now, we haven't had any action on the last couple days, but I'm still gonna keep them in and keep our fingers crossed, get those deep fish to come up.
All right, just got bit on this one. We had some super gel in there, some anchovy. We're gonna put some more in it, hit a buck out.
This is the color we've been getting our bites on this morning. It seems like we had 2 drive-bys where they grabbed it and let go, and we caught the one on this zucchini color. So we're gonna switch out another rod for it, see if we can increase our amount of bites. Here we go. We've been putting scent on these inside here in the chamber, and I mean, some people say out here tuna are aggressive, it doesn't make a difference, but both the ones that have been hit have been on the anchovy scent, and I mean, I'm gonna do whatever we can right now to get a bite. We're having a little bit of wind today too, so this sled head's a little bit heavier. I think it's gonna help on the long lines, hold it on track. Something we do every once in a while when we get a little extra breeze going. We're running 80-pound fluorocarbon line right here. Seems to be handling the fish really good. It's not too big where they're seeing it. And like I said, we're doing everything we can today to get the bite on. I filled this on that last one just got hit. I filled that whole thing with it, with the anchovy scent. Got a Procure. Let's get this thing back out there and working, guys. That's tuna. I saw it again. Got jumpers. Tell them we got jumpers in the back.
You throw a bait every 10 seconds. About 10 baits once we get there.
Go, well, you're going.
I'm gonna turn the jigs right on top of them.
One every 10 seconds or so.
We got these ones ready to put on the hook for dead bait with some anchovy oil Procure, so we can fish those live. We can get some fish to the boat.
Well, we're hooking up a few albacore off the Oregon coast, but if you go tuna fishing enough, you're gonna have days where you really load the boat. And usually when that happens, you get them to come up around the boat and you can drop jigs on them or live bait or something like that. Now, something about albacore and tuna in general that I've learned over the years, I think it applies to most species of tuna, is that they're not big thinkers. Hey, they're on a seafood diet. They see food, they want to eat it, but they get locked in on whatever is the primary food source at the time. So if they're feeding on little bait like this, and you show them a big lure like this, chances are they might not hit it. I've seen that happen time and time again with yellowfin when there is a crab larva hatch and they're feeding on little tiny crab larvae. When they're feeding on those, it's really hard to get them to hit a bigger bait sometimes. Now, a few years ago, Fishfield came out with these kokanee jigs, these Dynasty mini jigs, and they're great for kokanee. But what I noticed is that people were coming into the shop and buying them for tuna fishing. They would put bigger hooks and split rings on them and use them for tuna. Because at the time, or it just happens sometimes, when those albacore are feeding on real small bait, you're gonna do much better if you can match the size of the bait with the jig that you're using. So there's a little tip for you. So you've probably noticed that we're using electric reels or power assist reels for these albacore today. Now, some people think that's cheating and other people think it's the greatest thing ever. So it is what it is. Whatever you think about them is what you think about them. But I wouldn't knock it till you try it. When you're down 500 feet for halibut, say, those electric reels are really nice. Or trolling for albacore. You've got several lines out, several hundred feet back. When you want to get them in fast to check them for weeds or anything like that, that makes the whole process a lot faster and more efficient. And they've become very popular. In the fishing industry, electric reels are a hot item right now, and they're kind of hard to find. But I do know that Fishfield in Tigard, Oregon has a good selection of both the Daiwas, like you're seeing used today, and also the Shimanos that are good quality also. Now, let's go back to the Oregon coast and see if we can't hook up with a few more albacore. The tuna fleet out of Garibaldi is struggling today, and we feel fortunate to have a few fish in the box. Captain AJ has made several adjustments in location and direction of our tacks, which seems to be paying off.
Double! Double, double! Here, AJ. Don't slackline it. I won't. Get all these hand lines in, guys. Get your way up to here. Got a lot of shit on one.
I've never used an electric reel before. This is fun. It's exciting.
Ethan, grab that other gaff real quick. Scoop over. Scoop over. Okay, next one. Handle this one. Hold on, you can get out of the way. That's how we change the score! That's two! I love that sound. Go ahead and bleed him. No, don't bleed him. Yeah, that's more like it right there. Same thing, got it on those zucchinis again. Just sending them up, the anchovy scent, and got them going and it worked.
No, not seeing really much different. Just happened to hit a couple fish there, which is great. We got a little bit colder water right here and less bait in the water, so maybe that's helping us out. And I switched our direction a little bit, and bam, got a couple fish. Go back over that little spot there, see if we can pull a little bit more out of there.
Hey, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. You know, without the support of the sponsors, there would be no show. So please thank them when you can. Now, get out there and do some great fishing.